Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be getting into the world of medical intuition.
Okay.
You know, where somebody says they can see what's happening inside your body
Right.
without using any like x-rays or MRIs or anything like that. It's pretty wild stuff.
It is.
And joining me today to unpack all of this is
Right.
we've got a stack of sources here about this guy, Jack Rourke, who says that he is a medical intuitive.
Right.
So we've got a YouTube video of him doing his thing. We've got articles, some pretty out there stories about his work,
Okay.
even testimonials from people who've worked with him.
Interesting.
So this is going to be fascinating, I think.
Yeah, this will be a fun one.
So let's get into it. So first of all, just for anyone who has never heard this term before, when we say medical intuition, what are we even talking about?
So medical intuition is this idea that you can perceive information about someone's physical body
Okay.
and their health through something other than the five senses.
So like a sixth sense, but for health?
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Like imagine being able to sense an ulcer
Wow.
or like a blockage in an artery just by focusing on a person.
So this Jack Rourke, he claims to be able to do that.
He does, yeah. He calls himself a medical intuitive.
Huh.
He claims to be able to see a person's internal anatomy
Okay.
and like how their body is functioning through clairvoyance.
Clairvoyance, is that like, I've heard that word before. Is that like clear seeing?
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Okay.
So traditionally, clairvoyance has been this psychic ability, like seeing into the future, seeing things far away.
Mm-hmm.
But he claims to be able to see inside of the body.
Okay, so how does that work? Seeing the future and then seeing inside someone's body?
Well, he describes it as being able to just directly perceive the inner workings
Really?
of a person. Yeah, not like vague feelings or anything, but like specific anatomical details.
So he's seeing like what? Like tumors and stuff?
He claims to see tumors, inflammation, even like the texture of organs.
Wow. Hold on. So he's saying that he can like tell if you've got a blockage in your artery just by looking at you.
That's exactly what he's saying.
That's kind of creepy.
And he's been doing this. This isn't new for him. He's been doing this for over 30 years.
30 years.
According to him. And he thinks that it can help people with all kinds of health concerns.
So like what kind of proof does he have?
Well, he doesn't claim to be a doctor or anything.
Oh, okay.
He says that he doesn't diagnose or treat medical conditions.
Uh-huh.
But his website, these articles, it's full of stories about how he's helped people with serious health issues.
So like people are saying, this guy found my tumor when my doctor couldn't.
Basically.
Wow.
So, for example, one article talks about this woman who'd been in menopause for 12 years.
12 years.
And after seeing him, she said her period came back the next day.
No way. You're kidding me. 12 years.
After 12 years. Yeah, and even Rourke himself doesn't really understand how it works.
Wow.
He just said it's like a shift in energy. The body just needed to be seen in a certain way.
That is wild. Are there other stories like that?
Oh, yeah, there's tons. There's another one. This woman had a rare disease, and she had a daughter.
Okay.
And he predicted that the daughter would get it, even though there was no genetic link or anything.
Oh, that's creepy.
And years later, the daughter ended up getting the same illness.
That's so strange.
Right. It really makes you wonder, like, how much do we actually know about the body?
Yeah, I mean, if this stuff's for real, then what have we been doing this whole time?
Exactly. So are these just like flukes?
Yeah.
Or is there something else going on here?
Right, yeah.
It's hard to say.
It's very strange. Okay, so we've got this guy, Jack Rourke. He says he can see inside people's bodies. He's got clairvoyance, all this stuff. But how does he even do it? Like, what's his process?
Well, he says it's a kind of like a meditative absorption.
Okay.
He becomes one with the client's body.
Whoa, like merges with them or something.
Almost, yeah, like he merges his energy with theirs.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like, I don't know, like some kind of fantasy novel or something.
It does a little bit right.
Yeah.
But he's very insistent that it's not, like spiritual mumbo jumbo. It's not about like,
Ghosts and stuff.
yeah, channeling spirits or any, yeah. He's like, no, this is about directly perceiving anatomy.
Okay, so he's not talking about like Reiki or energy healing or anything like that.
No, totally different. He actually really separates himself from those kinds of practices.
Huh.
He's like, those are fine. They have their benefits.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as like actually seeing someone's insides, which is what he claims he can do.
Right, yeah, that's what he's saying. So, but when he's doing this meditative absorption, what does he actually see? Like, how does he know what's going on in their body?
So this is where it gets really wild.
Okay.
He says he sees these holographic images
Yeah.
of the client's anatomy just like floating in the air around him.
What?
Yeah, it's like a 3D model, just like hanging out.
Okay, hold on. And these are like moving, like he can see the organs moving and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a still image. It's like a dynamic representation of their body.
Wow. And how does he get any information from that? Like, can he tell if something's wrong just from this image?
He says he can. He says he can feel sensations in his own body that like correspond to what he's seeing in the image.
So like if someone had a blocked artery,
Right.
he would feel like a tightness in his own chest.
That's what he claims, yeah. Like he's experiencing their physical state.
That is so weird.
I know. It's a lot to take in.
It is. It is. But how does he know? I mean, anybody could say that, right? How does he know that what he's seeing is accurate?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And he just actually acknowledges this. He's like, look,
Okay.
this is not a replacement for going to the doctor.
Right.
He's very clear about that.
He's not a doctor, right?
He's not a doctor. This is supplemental information.
Okay.
So it's like, this is what I'm seeing. Now go talk to your doctor about it.
That's interesting because a lot of the, people who claim to have these kinds of abilities are always like, don't trust doctors, trust me.
Exactly.
But he's like, no, I'm a supplement to that.
He wants to work with doctors. He thinks that this information can be helpful.
Interesting.
To guide treatment and diagnosis and things like that.
So we've got medical intuition. He's seeing inside the body. He's feeling people's physical sensations.
Right.
We've got these stories from people saying he's helped them, but then, we don't have any scientific proof or anything.
Yeah, and that's kind of the crux of it, right?
So where does that leave us?
Well, it puts us in this really interesting gray area, right? Where we're still trying to figure out, like, what is perception? What's really possible? Can these things actually exist?
I think that's kind of the beauty of the show, right?
Totally.
It's that, we don't always have the answers.
Yeah.
But it's fun to think about.
It is fun to think about. It stretches the mind a little bit.
Right. It makes you question things.
It's exactly.
And wonder what else might be out there.
Totally.
So I gotta say, after learning all this about medical intuition, part of me is like, whoa, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, is this legit?
Right.
It's a lot to process. This guy, Jack Rourke, he seems to really believe in what he's doing.
He does.
And we've got these people saying he's helped them, but then there's that question, the science part of it.
Yeah, how do we reconcile?
Yes, exactly. Like, where does science fit into all of this?
Well, that's the tough part, right? Because science, it's all about what you can measure and observe and repeat.
Right.
And this stuff...
Yeah, like, people used to think the Earth was flat.
Exactly.
And look at us now.
So maybe this medical intuition thing, it's just something we don't fully understand yet.
Right. Like, we haven't figured out the science behind it.
Yeah. And that's okay. It doesn't mean it's not real.
So then how should people approach this? Like, if you're hearing about medical intuition for the first time, what should you be thinking?
I'd say be open-minded. You don't have to believe it.
Right.
But don't just dismiss it out of hand either.
Yeah, keep an open mind.
Be curious. Ask questions. Do your own research.
That's good advice for anything, really.
It's true.
Well, this has been absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
I want to thank you so much for, taking this deep dive with me, for sharing your insights.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening at home, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this exploration into the world of medical intuition. Keep those brains buzzing, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.